crush on. Lelez is your weed, the girl have a crush on. Yeah, that's it for touch on. Alright now. Girl, come see you. On the bike, hold on tight on the bike, girl. Now you don't know what to ride the bike. So when you put up on the bike, hold on tight on the bike, girl. You know you shut up like I don't like that. It's a boy with no lump up. When you don't ride, then it be a cramp up. Come on, if you get your bike license, cycle and your registration stamp up. Yeah, it's afraid of police, so maybe to be searching, saying to your hand up. If you pay for the street, follow me, can't make it from me yard, I will keep the handcuff. Yeah, on the bike, hold on tight for the bike, there. Now you don't know what to ride like that. So baby, put up on the bike, hold on tight for the bike, there. You know you shut up like I don't like that. She said, oh, me did the key. That girl, you want me to break up. You don't need to, she want me to face. Girl, mine is a pop and fuck up the end. Then she said she can deal with it. She said me just a how it is. I know but it's feeling it, but she bad out when these get this. On the bike, hold on tight on the bike, girl. Now you don't know what to ride like that. So baby, put your money bike,